Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the cards of the day. I hope you're all having a fantastic day today. I'm going to get started with some shuffling. For those of you who have never been to cards of the day before, this is a group reading. I'm not doing individual questions. But if you have a private reading that you would like to schedule, the $20, you can book them through Readings by Jesse on Facebook. You can also direct message me, and I can set up an appointment through the direct messenger on TikTok as well. But I focus on love, money. Good morning. I focus on love, money, well-being, spirit message, and headlines, and then I focus on the energy of the day with my my oracle cards. I guess that's what I'm calling them now, is my oracle cards. I was referring to them as my spell cards, now they're oracle cards. Good morning. And after the cards of the day, I am going to do a little brief, you don't have to hang around for it, because I am going to do it at the end and re-record it, or just chop off the end of this video and share it. But I wanted to just sort of touch on Halloween, some of the meanings and insights that I've noticed about this time of year in general. So just something, just like little food for thought about Halloween. And it's not a traditional Halloween video in the sense of talks about Samhain, Samhain, Halloween, All Hallows Eve. It's more of a generalization about all the death holidays, all the holidays that celebrate ancestors. This card jumped when Tessie Falzone, you asked for a reading, please. One of the cards did jump, so I'll tell you what it was, because I was looking right at it, at your comment, as it was doing this. Normally I don't do regular readings on the cards of the day, but the card that jumped is a fire card, which means it's going to be active in about a few days to a couple weeks. But you're going to start moving very quickly in a very fortunate direction towards whatever the reading or whatever's going on in your life. And you're moving forward with passion. Wands are always passion cards. But moving along, that could also be interpreted as a yes answer if it was a yes or no question. I know you just said reading in general. The one card that flew out when you asked for a reading was a very positive one. Okay, we're going to start off with the cards of the day. And we always start in the same place with the cards, which is love. Love always comes first. It's what got us all here anyway, right? Now, for those of you that are unfamiliar with how cards work in general, we have the Chariot first. The reason why you always see me putting my hands over the top of them is because the stronger cards will do one of two things. They will either pull your hand down or push it up. And you can also pick up hot, cold, earth, water, fire energy. Just depends on the card, really. But for the most part, you can feel a push or a pull off of the card, and that's the card that you should choose. Anyway, sorry about that. It's the time of year. It's very chatty on the other side, and as some of you may know, I am a spirit medium, so I pick up a lot of noise. That's why I zone out every once in a while. So, the love cards today, we have the Chariot. There's a lot of energy backing whatever it is that you're doing right now, and it's going straight into some sort of a union, a unification, or a group of people that are working for a common goal or a common good. What this is telling me is this. The love cards today are actually talking about family. Right now, you need to focus on trying to help unify your family towards whatever it is that it is facing. This could be a health crisis, this could be a crisis of money. There's a lot of different things that could cause your family to need to come together right now. And it's not always about understanding. It's not always for any specific purpose other than to just be around each other and to support one another. Now, the Chariot card, its energy is a little frantic, which means, the whole family wants to get together. They all want to hold that unit together. But here's the thing. The Chariot energy is very frantic, which means it's going to want to pull them in multiple directions. Everyone's going to want to go their own way. You have to, as a group, keep that focus together. For whatever reason, the universe wants you all together as a family unit right now. No matter how chaotic that holiday energy may be, it's time to get that energy going. I think that's kind of what the cards are trying to say. Is it's the holidays, the holiday seasons are coming up. There is a lot of energy for people to come together as a family unit. So I think that's where that energy is going. So get your plans made now for the holidays. Get your family together, or at least start communicating a little bit more. And the next ones are money cards. These could be investments, physical money. It can also be work related, anything like that. And if you have questions while I'm going through the cards, project your answer to me, or just focus on it really hard, and I will try to do my best to answer it. I'm not doing specific questions with the cards of the day. If I have time after my readings that I have scheduled, I will come back. Okay. And if you see any negative comments, don't feed in. I don't usually recognize them as even saying anything. I just block them. Very chill energy here. I do not like confrontations. Doesn't mean I won't get in one, but I do not like them, and if I can avoid them, I will. The first money card is Justice. Good or bad, Justice is sort of the karma card, and for it to come up in a money reading, that means that there's a lot of things that are either directly law related in the physical world or karma, natural law related. And that can be a couple of different things, but it's always the same thing in general. It's the balancing of the scales, okay? Something was either owed to you or you owe someone something, and it has to be leveled out in order for the universe to find that balance again. Now let's draw the crossing card to see. Wow, I got a strong pull on this one. Queen of Wands. Now, wands are fire, so there's passion. Let me give you a rough idea as to what the Queen of Wands represents. Any fire sign, any zodiac sign that has fire in it is partially represented by the Queen of Wands. And this does not just necessarily represent women. All beings have both male and female forces within them. So this could represent that part of you if you are not indeed female. But it's her passion, her fire, and her charisma that she represents most of all. It is that inner light that certain people have, that's that fire inside of them that attracts people in. The downside to this is that you may also wind up burning so brightly that you push people away or scare them back. So the thing is, whatever the justice is, you've been very passionate about it. It excites you, angers you, it stirs all the prime emotions. So whatever it is that's going to be balanced, it's going to have a lot of passion and fire behind it. You're going to know what it is that's being balanced. It's something that you're already feeling passionate about. And the universe is going to change this. What is it? Since it's a money reading, it could literally be a court case settlement. It could be you owing someone something and you finally being able to pay it back or having to. It can also be just that karma is finally had enough of people screwing you over and it's balancing itself. Traditionally speaking, these cards are positive representations of those things. So it should be someone owing you money. It should be you getting a reimbursement. It should be you getting good news from a settlement or something along those lines. Or it could be karma's balancing the scales and you're getting a promotion at work. You've been held back for too long and now you're moving forward. There's a lot of different areas that could represent. Now, and remember, these are general readings for everybody, so it can be interpreted in slightly different ways for everyone depending on the circumstances by which you're in. Alright. And the well-being cards are next. The well-being cards are... I'm doing very well, thank you. The well-being cards are basically emotional health, physical health, things that are going to basically either release some sort of emotional pain or possibly hold you back. But let's do this. And we're getting rid of another one. Sorry, folks. Okay. And as I said earlier, I'm not doing any specific questions for individuals. If you have a question, you can throw it in the comments as a kind of an affirmation to me, or you can just try to project the answer. But essentially, all you need to do is really project the question to me, and I will probably have something that will resonate close to it if you just keep on pushing it. The spirit messages where a lot of people get more specific things that way. Anyway, well-being cards. This is why I sometimes don't have the comments on, is because I get distracted. I get distracted way too easily. I'm like a cat. Queen of Cups. There's a very specific message with the Queen of Cups, and I already know what part of it to hone in on because it's in the well-being cards, which is an emotional thing. The Queen of Cups represents a woman that draws her wisdom from her emotions, her ups, her downs, and everything in between. She is empathic. She can put herself in other people's shoes, literally feeling what other people feel. She is incredibly strong and wise, though, with her wisdom. She knows the facets around every emotion that she has, and she draws strength and wisdom from them, and she's not afraid to show that through her poise and the way she projects herself. And she always projects herself honestly, wearing her emotions on her sleeve. Now, the other thing you have to remember is this, though. Water is a powerful force. Once it builds, it has to release. And that's usually as a large wave. It may take weeks, months, or years for that energy to build. But when it releases, it is a tidal wave. It is a force not to be reckoned with. And that can be both good or bad. And again, remember, just because it's the Queen of Cups card, it's her message of wisdom from her emotions. It is not necessarily just representative of women. It's like we are all both. Slightly. Okay, Three of Swords. This is a card that is going to be a warning. Three of Swords does represent pain and sorrow, but it's a very specific type of situation, and it is unique out of the two tarot decks. The specific meaning that card has in that deck. Here's what it is. You lost something. Something very, very emotional happened, and you lost something. By force or by action, kind of irrelevant. You still lost it, so it doesn't really matter how. The thing is, what you lost hurts, but you will find over time that potentially what was lost may have actually been doing more harm than good, or you will come to a revelation and realize that with that thing gone, now you can move on into different areas of your life that you were otherwise held back in before. Cross that with the Queen of Cups. There is a dark situation that has happened. You need to learn all of the emotional lessons and all the emotional wisdom that it is going to show you as you go through the grieving process. That is the message from the well-being cards. And the other thing you have to also process as you're going through the emotional upheaval of the sorrow, how did it happen? And the ultimate question through any wisdom of any bad event is, could this be prevented in the future? Or was it something that could not be prevented? If it could be prevented in the future, don't blame anyone in the present, just try to prevent it from happening again. If it was something that was out of your control, process that and realize that sometimes certain things do just happen and they are beyond our control, but that doesn't mean that we should worry about them 24/7. It will destroy the rest of your life to always live in fear. Those are the real pearls of wisdom there, if that's what you can draw from that particular instance. These are some heavy cards today, and on that note, heavy cards. Okay, moving into the spirit message. Now, the spirit message is this. It's omens. It's angel numbers. It's different things normally, like what you would get through like hearing something on the radio, things like that. But this is more of a direct message from the other side that is essentially going to tell you that whatever it is the spirits want you to know. It could be direction, it could be a warning, it could be something to pay attention to. There's really no way of knowing one way or another where it's going to land. The spirit messages are full spectrum. Wow, okay. Very magnetic pull to this one. The moon. You don't get much more magnetic than that. Well, gravitational, let's be specific. So, the moon card represents illusion, confusion, and misdirection in the tarot deck. To throw the spiritual side of the moon as an astral body in, there is a presence of divine feminine energy, and there is also a very strong presence of course, dreams, psychic ability, and literally the movement of the tides. Things waxing and waning, growing and fading. It also represents the divine goddess cycle, or for us mortals, at least the female mortals out there, it represents also the menstrual cycle. My apologies. But ultimately, the moon represents darkness and nighttime. And with her messages, basically they can also mean just not being able to see things clearly. Shadows are out at night, things look a little spooky. It's basically sort of like the Halloween card, I guess, in a way. Things aren't always what they seem in the nighttime, but when the sun rises in the light of day, we can definitely see things clearer. So the moon card is wildly temporary as well. Okay, and Ten of Cups. Happy ending to the story. So, though things may not be clear now because of the confusion of the moon, the Ten of Cups is saying that you will find a lot of emotional closure. You will find a way to process everything, pack it all up, and move to a better place. And to move to a place where you can truly find closure and happiness. It has been a long journey and it is overdue. But you can find the happiness you're looking for and start over again. All right. Now, moving into the headline cards of the day. Sorry, I'm getting a lot of energy. There's a lot of spirits that are trying to push like holiday blessings and wishings upon everybody, and so happy holidays from the other side. But specifically I'm seeing it looks like a red satin or velvet blanket. It looks like sort of like a Santa color with silver buttons around it, and I think it's a gold trim around the edge of the blanket. I know it sounds like a garden variety Christmas blanket, but this was something that was handmade. This was something that was very, very specific and special. Anyway, that's what I'm picking up from there. Headline cards. These are crossroad events. These are events that will resonate through everyone's day. These are the big news things of today that will move forward. Now, let's see what the first card is. Slight fire energy from here. Eight of Swords. Not a fire card, but I know why the fire is there. Fire is, it's actually the anger in the card. So, the Eight of Swords represents you being stuck between a rock and a hard place. Inaction. That's why there's anger. And the anger is coming from the angel. I will show you the card. The demons are what you're afraid of specifically, but the angel's pissed because you're not moving. Everyone wants to take a middle of the road position, and no one wants to hurt anyone else's feelings. And that's why you're not moving. You don't want to hurt yourself. You don't want to hurt the angels. You don't want to hurt the demons. You know that someone's going to be pissed somehow. So you're basically standing in the middle of the road, unaware that you could get plowed over by a car if you don't move eventually, and that's why the angel is pissed. Now, we're going to draw the crossing card and see why the angel is angry, because it's like, it's a very clear energy. That's why I'm laughing. I apologize. Eight of Cups. You're lost, you're confused, and you're in need of guidance. It's basically what it means. Things are not clear right now. That's why we don't want to choose a direction. But the thing is, with the specific message of the Eight of Cups in that card deck, it means that you have to ask for the guidance. So folks, it's time to listen to your inner voice, your conscience, pray to the higher powers, find out what it is that they're trying to tell you, or why you feel the way you feel. Start digging in deeper on that. Start praying on it. Because there's a lot of confusion out there, and you have to move eventually. You have to pick a side of the road. And you can't stand in the middle of a busy intersection and expect to not get hit. The longer you wait, the more the chances are that you're going to, the more the chances that you're going to wind up getting hit by a car if you don't get out of the road. You got to pick a side. You got to move forward, backward, left, or right. You have to do something. You cannot wait forever. Okay. Sorry, that triggered me to, for some reason, I just found that really funny. It was just the anger that I felt projected from the angel's face off of that card was ridiculous. I felt like I was being scalded. If it's resonating with you, then it's meant for you. That's why I like to do these group readings, because the spirits get the chance to communicate to you more directly. That's why I like to do these group readings with the cards. I need the cards to focus my spirit medium ability, because my spectrum is a little broad what I can pick up, so I have to really chop it down. Okay. Next, the energy cards of the day. The energy cards of the day are essentially, after all the zodiac signs and planetary energies bounce off of one another, after all the card predictions and everything that we do throughout the day bounce off of each other, what is the most prevalent energy that's going to come of all of that? Because essentially what you're looking for is, how can you utilize the biggest current of energy today? What is the largest force that's going to be at work? Where are the spirits going to be pushing the energies? Where are the big heavy hitters going to be putting their energy behind? And the first card is Charon, the god of healing. I know it looks sort of like a key. But yeah, he's the god of healing. He represents everything that is healing, both the scientific side of it, the emotional, and the physical health side of it. It's all about healing. And it's on a personal basis, personal level. It can be broad spectrum, but it has to be influenced by another card or another force in order for it to be broad spectrum. And the next card is the Sun card. Success, goals, good fortune. And when I say the sun, I mean the sun. This is a direct fire element. It is warmth, it is heat, it is light, it is growth. And as we move throughout the day, the sun energy combined with healing energy, you can't ask for anything better than that. Those are some pretty very powerful forces that are both working on a positive aspect on a very broad spectrum. So this is whole self healing, like every part of your life healing in bits and pieces. And the final card is Mars, war. Now, you have to remember though that Mars represents strength, sex, anger, health, passion, vitality. And as luck would have it, his day is Tuesday. So, Mars can also represent diplomacy, and it can also represent basically fights, struggles, emotional energy running incredibly high. So, health and vitality is also in there as well. So, you have healing, sun energy, Mars energy, which is passion and fire. So there's going to just be a huge amount of, with the sun energy combined with the health energy, today's energy is going to be one of like drive, force, ambition, healing, getting things done, bringing things together, completion, closure. It's going to be something that's going to basically burn like the sun, literally. And it's going to force a lot of negative things out, whether it wants to stay or not. Which also means that today is a great day for removing blockages from your spiritual self and your emotional self and processing things in a really strong way. But ultimately, with the healing card, today would be a great day for closure, shadow work. You're also talking about any kind of a spell or any kind of a manifestation for completion, for calling forth success, money, physical health, things like that. Now, the next card I'm doing is the blessing. So today's blessing, I already see the card on the top here. Today's blessing it's basically if you're going to pray right now for help, where is most of that energy going to come from? How will the spirits answer you? What is the most likely answer to your prayers going to be today? How are they going to help you? We have the element of air, and this card represents the physical element of air. And I will read you the meaning so that I don't miss anything on the background, because I put most of the important stuff on here. We have air, gas, atmosphere, the winds, and weather. Communications. It also represents conflict, violence, pain, and suffering, but then it also represents warm, moist, and relaxing as well. You literally have basically, it represents the physical atmosphere, the weather. The reason why it represents pain, conflict, and horrible things is because we always focus on natural disasters instead of natural miracles. We always focus on the bad weather, but not so much on the good weather that drives all the growth and prosperity of the entire world. So we have to keep in mind that the atmosphere is sort of volatile at the moment, and the energy can literally go one way or the other, good or bad, because it is unbiased. It's pure elemental force. This is also probably going to be a prevalent energy for a little while longer because there are elections going on. And with all the hot air that some of them love to blow, it can tend to cause upset. So keep that in mind as well. But you're talking about like weather magic, you're talking about the wind blowing something over or things being blown to you. With it being communication, there's going to be lines of communication opening up. You're going to be able to communicate to the other side very easily right now. Big surprise, Halloween was yesterday. Or well, no, the day before. Yeah, you get my point. It was recently. I have no concept of time at all. Now, as I stated before, I wanted to go over very quickly my views on Halloween, on fall, the harvest, this time of the year. As some of you may or may not be aware of, because I'm not sure who's all on here right now. Some of them may actually know me personally. I was in the military, and I actually have an electromechanical engineering degree through the military. On top of all the spiritual things that I do, I did always focus on both the spirit world and the physical world, equally and opposite. I wanted to understand it all. And as the Bible says, study in all things and become wise. So, basically, to me, what Halloween really is, putting the ancient traditions aside and focusing on it from a science and metaphysical background. The reason why we have different death holidays or traditions all over the world at different times is because of fall. As the season of growth comes to an end, and as all of the foliage and all of the earth elements and all of the living things out there start to go dormant because of the cold and slowly but surely lose their limbs and leaves and die, they go to sleep. Where is all the energy from all the foliage on all of the trees going? Energy cannot be created nor destroyed, only transformed. These were physical living things with cellular activity that have a bioelectrical field. Where is the energy going when the leaf dies? I know you don't think it's much energy, but it adds up. 1 million leaves could be the equivalent to enough energy to run a house for a few hours. Who knows? But here's the thing. That energy goes somewhere. It cannot be created nor destroyed, only transformed. I feel, as with the senses that I have, I feel when the trees shed their energy in their leaves, then some of it does go into the earth. The physical part of it goes into the earth, but the higher energetic energy is just free floating. It's just sort of sitting out there in the atmosphere. And I feel that that's what attracts the darker, lower vibrational spirits, in a sense. And as we move into the season of death, as some call it, we are basically witnessing all of the lower astral beings feeding on that low-hanging fruit energy, the easy-to-get energy, because it's just there. And then they bounce off of us, spreading... It spreads sort of like a feeling of fear and terror sometimes in this kind of environment. All these lower beings have low vibrations, so they make us feel cold, they make us feel chill, they make us feel afraid because it's the feeling almost of being underground when they're around. The higher powerful ones, lower vibration, higher being. Still, we call them demons and monsters, but the simple fact is, some of them are almost mindless animals eating food much like a cow would. And it just perpetuates the fear because we don't understand it because it's an animalistic mind. Then as we go through winter, that energy dies. Eventually everything falls to sleep. And then there's just sort of a mix. Then we have spring comes along. Things bloom again. Then you have your high vibrational beings. The ones that come from the light. That come down and actually cause growth. Cause life to want to prosper. As the sun fuels it, those beings go and try to foster that life as it spreads. And that's where the healing energy and spring comes from. And that's why the beings of light return in the spring, is because the energy is following the patterns of the sun. They're following the patterns of the energy. So there's my feelings on fall and some of the death holidays, and sort of a scientific explanation as to why I feel it sort of follows that pattern. Just a different perspective. But that is what I have for you today. I have to go so I can chop all this up and send it all out so that everybody gets it. Have a fantastic day, though. I hope to see you all again tomorrow. Blessed be.